Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Truth Unspoken. It's been a couple weeks since we've been in. We've had a lot of things going on, and trying to recruit and get the word out. And we just took a serious turn in our country this past weekend, and very very sad times. Where violence is being condoned and promoted, and it's affecting everyone, and our children are the main ones affected. And so also, more evil deeds this weekend, for especially for Californians. Our governor signed another wicked bill, which puts actual insanity into law, and also blatantly tells us as parents our children don't belong to us, and they've made it law now. And so the fight is already been real, but it just got realer. The spiritual warfare is extremely real and serious. And this is the time to stand up and have faith and to unite. The only answer to this is unity. And every parent, every uncle, every auntie, every grandparent, every sister, brother that has younger siblings, we need everyone to join into this, especially in California and throughout our nation. We don't know how many other states will adapt this new bill, but the time to act is now. We're pressing forward with our Stay Home inaugural. Please send out this website, and please sign it, and please, join it. Join the website. Please connect with us. Please send this out. Join the movement at studentstayhome.com is where you need to go. And if you don't send out this link, please send out that website to every parent, to every grandparent, to every aunt and uncle and any cousin, everybody that you know that has children. Please send that out so that we can get this word out. We only have a few more months now. It's closing in on us, and the time is now where we have to act. We have to take our children out of these public schools, because now it has become official law that any professional in the place of a teacher or a psychiatrist at a school, psychologist at a school, principals, they do not have to tell us. They do not have to consort with us. They do not have to inform us. And this is the law in every public school. And so, please, let's get this information out. Urgency is an understatement right now. Every contact that you have needs to be notified. If you have other people that have platforms, other people that are doing podcasts, other people that have a sense of decency, that have a platform, we need to get them on board. And this is this is celebrities, this is common people, this is for the soul of our children and the soul of America. And you can no longer stand by and just watch. You can no longer just not be involved. Like, we have zero time for that. This is all hands on deck. This is anyone that loves children and wants to protect children. You want to do something, you want to be a part. This is for everyone on protecting our children. So we have, the actual facts of what this law is. I believe he signed it on Tuesday, 2 days after the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. And, you would think that these type of things would make people step back as a nation, as individuals, and realize that, what's at stake. And, try to, make good, but it didn't stop our governor. He's a wicked, evil man, portraying as a godly man, and he's a liar and a deceiver, and he blatantly does not care about your children. And everyone in California, there's millions understand that, but millions don't have a resolve for that. And so this stay-at-home inaugural is a resolve, is a fight back. It is a statement that that holds weight and affects their finances. And so we have two things that will take place. One is the everyday, I want to say fee or payment that comes per child in the school. That will be affected the more children we take out, meaning for that week we take them out of the public school, and then we have to start getting schools up and running, and that's a urgent matter right now, is because you have people that just after this happened, they're leaving the state, actually just fully leaving the state. Even Elon Musk, billionaires taking billions out of California. And I could also say there goes the electric plan, having by 2035 all electric vehicles. Well, I don't think they're going to meet that quota. And then also, it's the census week. It's the fourth. I think it's the 4th or the 2nd is the actual census day. Yeah, I think it's October 2nd. Is actually the day they take the census of all California students in the public school district, and that determines the funding for the following school year. Yep. And so we can create a major statement to our government, to our state, that you may come with oppressing and wicked and dictatorship laws, but there is a godly principle called unity that they cannot penetrate that. And so, and then if we get this land, if we get land, period, and start to build schools and build charter schools and build academies, then that's another major statement, because now we're taking them out of public schools, which means if we empty the public schools won't have anybody and won't have anything to fund. Yep. And so if you start having 50 to 100 empty schools in the state, you were talking millions and millions of dollars. And then you're talking about wicked people's salaries being cut, because that money that comes for the district for the children, they take it anyways and put it in their pockets. Yeah. And we've already broke down the stats and the facts. So this is not a conspiracy. This is not a political. This is not an opinionated. These are facts and stats and truth that can't be argued or denied. So, and then you have another juggernaut in California called Disney, which is simultaneously working together with the governor and with the state and the government on pushing this transgender agenda upon the families and forcing it on us. And then now that, when you want to take your kids to watch a good Disney movie, is no longer a good Disney movie. It's an agenda inside of it, and is blatant. We've released videos of them being caught, behind the scenes videos that weren't supposed to be leaked, of the Disney management and CEOs of what their whole plan has been, and that was made public, and they didn't want that to be made public, but it has. But I'm sure very few people have actually seen it. But the more and more these things get out, every family in California should if we've all been to Disneyland. Yep. We've all taken our kids to Disneyland. We've all spent tons and tons of money on Disney products. We've all done that, so we all just need to cut that off. It's real simple.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to stop funding Disney, stop going to Disneyland, go to Legoland, go to SeaWorld, go to Magic Mountain, go to different places. We're blessed. We have many different amusement parks where we can take our kids and we can bypass on Disney.
Yeah.
And to say when you want to get your act together and start making wholesome films again for children that they can actually watch, then we'll start spending our money with you again. But until then, we're boycotting you. Just think about if a couple 100,000, a couple million did that in California, how quickly the narrative would change.
China did it.
Yeah, that's right. China said, "Don't send none of that over here. We're not gonna pay. We're not gonna buy any of your products." And Disney, every Disney film they send to China, none of them has any LGBT, transgender, gay, pride. It doesn't have any of that, but yet it's forced down our throats, and we live here.
Yep.
So it just shows that if a communist country can make a stand, why can't we?
Yeah.
Right? And it's our money that we're spending. I'm still talking to people and they're talking about taking their kids to Disneyland, and I'm like, wow, you don't know what Disney is doing? You don't know how they're inserting confusion and deception into our children, and they're saying, yeah, come pay us to destroy your children. You're paying us, you're funding us. This is the Disney slogan.
Yep.
You're funding us to destroy your children. Thank you.
Yeah.
When are we going to wake up and say, I'm no longer subscribing to Disney, the app, the channel. Mm-hmm. I'm no longer taking my children to Disneyland. I'm not taking my children to Disney World. We have people that fly to Florida to go to Disney World. How about we just start cutting all that and realize and wake up and see what these people are doing?
Yeah.
And it's not a conspiracy. And we're going to give you more data and more facts from people that actually work in Disney and things that they've been letting us know. I mean, there's some shocking stuff you're going to see, even though it's just getting more. It's unbearable. Honestly, it's like you have to be a sick, perverted, insane individual to support Disney or want your children to be around anything Disney orientated. When you see what they're building, they're making more things.
Yeah.
They're creating more content. They're creating more avenues. They're creating more chat rooms. They're creating more advertisement for this sick agenda to ends up with lives being lost, butchered, confused, depressed. That's the end result. And we're funding it. So why can't we do what China did and said, if you want to send us anything, make sure it has all that out.
Yeah.
And Disney said, okay, no problem. But we don't have to do with our American people because they don't have a backbone. They don't have the nerves to say, I'm no longer paying you. I mean, think about that. You don't have to go up there and shoot them or do nothing while you just cancel all payments going to Disney. You just stop buying all Disney products. If 1% of California did that, that would be a devastation to Disney.
Yep.
1%.
Yep.
If 1% of Californians decided altogether, I'm no longer. Now, people have, but not enough.
Right.
We need masses. Because when the masses do it, then they have no choice but to stop and switch their agenda. Because remember, money is their God.
Right.
So they serve money and they don't care who they hurt and they don't care who they kill and they don't care who they destroy. So we have to hit them in their pockets. Money is their God. Money's the only thing they answer to. So we have to remove our money.
Yep.
So we can have an understanding. We have to remove our money from going into their pockets. We're the taxpayers. We're the ones that are going to work every day and paying these crazy astronomical taxes.
Yeah, right.
And then being told now, we've been telling you, but now it's law in California. Your children belong to us. That's what Governor Newsome just signed.
Yep.
And he said, every child in California belongs to me. I don't care about you as their parent. And if you are a hardworking citizen and you can't afford private school and your children have to go to public school, they now belong to me and this agenda. And we're getting more and more doctors on board. We're getting more and more insurance companies on board to have surgeries behind your back. And now it's legal. And we don't have to tell you that we're going to take your child and chop off their body parts. And we don't need your permission. We're going to just do it. Instead of when they come to school to learn about history, to learn about science, to learn about social studies, they're going to learn about that they're a different identity and that they can be happy as a different identity and a different gender. And we're going to deceive them right into the surgery room, and the blade is waiting for them. And once we slice them and dice them and chop them up, guess what? They'll never be the same. Now they're going to need our medications. Now they're going to need our counselings. All this you're going to pay for. That's the bill that was just signed. So I just broke it down in layman's terms so we can understand what just happened in California on top of all the wicked things already in law. So next thing you know, if we don't do this now, the next law they'll put in is it'll be law that they can come to our house and collect our children without any proper needing, like no harm, no nothing, there's no threat, there's no nothing, just on the simple fact that, oh, you believe in the Bible, we're coming to your house to take your children. Oh, you don't want to address your child as a transgender confusion, we're coming to take your child. That's going to be the next law passed in California. Watch and see if we don't do something right now. And so it's time. It's been time. It's been past time. Now there's no more time. And like I said, this is not a conspiracy. If you have any rebuttal to this, you're just evil and wicked. Yep. And you don't love children, because no one in their right mind can say, yeah, that sounds like a good policy to where minors don't need their parents' consent, and neither do the professionals that went to school and got degrees. They don't need your consent either to talk to your children, to manipulate your children, to deceive our children, and to chop and hack our children. They don't need our permission at all. So we're in a different time, and everyone needs to wake up and recognize what is going on. So anyways, I want to get into some of these videos. Let's see. First of all, let's see what the article is. Let's show that the ABC video, so we can see what this is actually is and what's been done.
Governor Newsome has signed a law barring school districts from passing policies that require schools to notify parents if their child asks to change their gender identification. The law bans rules requiring school staff to disclose a student's gender identity or sexual orientation to any other person without the child's permission. Proponents of this legislation say it will help protect LGBTQ+ students who live in unwelcoming households. Opponents say it will hinder schools' ability to be more transparent with parents. And breaking news, Governor Newsome has signed a law barring.
So it will protect transgender students that know nothing about it until an adult introduces that to them. And then also it will protect them from going in their own household, that they sleep, eat, use the restroom, play, have family time. It will save them from their family. That's what that law, that's what those people are saying. Oh, this new law is going to help save the children from their own house. Now, there are situations where children do need to be saved from abusive households, but that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is the normal sane families, we're going to protect the children that we've deceived from their parents. We're going to protect normal functioning, going to work, paying tax families. We're going to protect their children from them. and those that have and choose to use the right of freedom of religion, those that choose to use the Bible to help their guide their children to not be deceived, to not be manipulated, to not be led astray, then we're gonna save those children from them. We're gonna save innocent children from righteous families. We're gonna save innocent children from good homes of loving parents. We need to save those children. Listen to how insane that sounds. And anybody that's putting their fist saying, yeah, you're insane and you're sick and you're perverted.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Because you cannot be a normal, functioning human being and go, yeah, the children really need that. They really need protection from their parents. The CPS is supposed to protect children that are being abused from abusive. All parents are not good parents. There's some people that don't need children because they don't know how to treat them. We're not talking about them. The system already has something for them. It's called Child Protective Services. But what this new law is for the parents that love and take care and nurture their children and protect their children. This law is for us. Now, mind you, Governor Newsome's children don't go to school here. So let's keep that in mind. So this insanity that he's pushing on our children, he doesn't impose on his own children.
Right.
That's called a hypocrite, and that's called someone that is real wicked and has a heart filled with evil and only serves money and is an agent to destroy families. Okay. We have another one.
Disney.
We have 3 videos, all right? Or did we just choose 2? Because I think that the
Other one was saying the same basic.
all right, let's play the Disney video then. And now, viewer discretion, you need to put that in because there's some just atrocious stuff like the parade. There you go.
Inside of Disney have given us an inside look at Disney's internal communications hub, internal employee websites, group chats and bulletin boards, Disney's company employee roster, and their Slack channel threads. And what we've discovered is so shocking that it makes the Disney tape series look like child's play. Literally, the Disney employee named Honey Harrison, who is promoting a Disney-sanctioned and sponsored Seattle Pride event via the Disney Slack channel. As we dug deeper into what she was marketing, we found it was an LGBTQ Pride event sponsored by Disney and meant for kids of all ages. Children, very young children, were there to see it all, compliments of the Walt Disney Company. Did you just see that? Fully naked men on bicycles in front of children, brought to you by the Walt Disney Company. Well, now we know exactly what Jeannie Giannani, the creative marketing director, meant when he said the, quote, unspoken truth.
That's the unspoken thing.
The journalist discovered that Disney has a not-so-secret partner named Zebra Youth. Zebra Youth is a program that was formed to assist LGBTQ youth as young as 13 years old, and Disney seems to be all about it. And hidden from the public, Disney actively promotes the Zebra Youth program, and if it were not for our brave Disney whistleblowers, insiders shining a light inside this company, we would not be able to bring this shameful practice to light. As you can see in this Disney Pride Slack channel, Disney employees are passing around documents of poly, swingers, virtual hangouts, pride nights, gay meetups, and even, yes, queer Zoom backgrounds that can be used when employees are on company Zoom calls. Why is Disney so obsessed with pushing LGBTQ and trans programming at young children? Why is it that Disney, a brand that at one time was best known for enhancing the childhood experience, by all appearances has morphed into an organization that is hell-bent on stealing your childhood's innocence and prepping them to be grown into a den of groomers, and predators. So now I welcome you to the series, The Disney Files, an undercover investigation where we take you deep inside the bowels of Disney's internal communications apparatus and explore just what is driving Disney's rapid downward spiral into the boneyard of wokeness. Not a week goes by without a news headline about potential medical supply shortages, threats to our infrastructure or power grid. And you remember what they pulled during the last pandemic. Certain medications were mysteriously out of stock. No way will I ever have in store for the next pandemic. Our friends and supporters at the Wellness Emergency Kit that is packed with 8 potentially life-saving, which I used myself while out on the road and starting to feel a bit under the weather. Health is everything, and this is a great opportunity to order a Wellness Company Medical Emergency Kit. The Wellness Company Medical Emergency Kit stands ready to treat over 30 common ailments, ensuring you'll have access to vital medication using the code OMG. Get ready to write this down. Get your Wellness Company Medical Emergency Kit at twc.health/OMG. That's twc.health/OMG. And save $45 per kit today when you use code OMG. So in Disney Tapes 1, we met this Michael Giordano who made it perfectly clear that Disney discriminates against white men.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white health person.
Just kind of unspoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
there's no way we're hiring a white health person. They, for writers and actors, we'll hear all the time, like, I'm looking to hire writers and actors who bring diversity. I'm not looking to bring on any more clients who are white.
In Disney Tapes 2, we met Dave Mocker, who exposed that Disney seems to worship at the altar of DEI, that's diversity, equity, inclusion, and in what could only be as a somewhat anti-Semitic tone, falsely claimed that while a white male, you don't stand much a chance at getting hired or promoted into Disney's middle management, but you need to be a, quote, white Jewish man to get into Disney's C-suite.
So they'll say, like, is the cast diverse? They have, like, a lead cast member who's, like, of color. Do they have, like, a cameraman? Or do they have, like, a director who's of color? So that way we're good. That I can see.
So you think that they wouldn't hire a C-suite who's not white or not Jewish?
In entertainment, no. There's also a slight glass ceiling for that. I feel like it's not, there's a glass ceiling. It's not quite, like, been breached yet. You're not going to see a CFO really I guess, for lack of a word, non-white, non-Jewish.
And in Disney Tapes 3, we met Amit Jernani, Disney's creative marketing director by day, and Jeannie, the drag queen, by night, who seems to be quite proud to be pushing LGBTQ and trans programming directly to children.
I think it'll be fine. Being a plastic man. I think totally.
Am I going to see a drag queen at Disneyland or anything like that? Do you want to do that? Get a drag queen at Disneyland. That would be cool.
I'm sure that that's definitely.
Well, that was our series, The Disney Tapes. And as it turns out, through its internal policies and bizarre desire to push and normalize pride parades and drag queens into the everyday lives of America's children, Disney is clearly the gift that keeps on giving. After seeing our Disney Tape series, we have had several insiders and whistleblowers inside their headquarters here in Burbank, California, reach out to us to share their insight into Disney's bizarre fascination to transform a once trusted family entertainment brand into a multi-channel LGBTQ trans fest. Our brave whistleblowers on the inside of Disney have given us an inside look at Disney's internal communications hub, internal employee websites, group chats and bulletin boards, Disney's company employee roster, and their Slack channel threads. And what we've discovered is so shocking that it makes the Disney Tape series look like child's play. Literally, LGBTQ and trans parades with fully naked men on bikes by Disney, Pride nights on Disney's properties and out in communities across America, company poly, yes, swingers meetup groups, company workshops on how to change your name as you transition, and TV specials aimed at children like Who I'm Meant to Be. And yes, you guessed it, that show is all about letting young kids know that it's okay at any age to let the rainbow flag fly. And it looks as if it's sponsored and sanctioned by Disney. So now I welcome you to the series, The Disney Files, an undercover investigation where we take you deep inside the bowels of Disney's internal communications apparatus and explore just what is driving Disney's rapid downward spiral into the boneyard of wokeness. In the Disney Files, we're going to expose Disney's employee text messages about children at sexual pride parades, how Disney is sponsoring LGBTQ resources for minors, and now Disney is creating more and more gender-neutral bathrooms at their parks and businesses. And on top of this, how Disney is actively assisting with sex change surgeries for their employees and a whole lot more. Disney has several primary communication channels, including a Disney employee Slack channel, a central communications hub called My Disney Today, and if you work at Disney and want to contact other colleagues, they use something called Disney Roster. Since we'll be referring to Disney's various channels of communication throughout this series, let me briefly explain what each channel is and how Disney's employees use them to communicate. First, there's Slack. Now, Slack is a formal group text messaging app that allows employees at Disney to text each other and from different group chats such as the one you'll see today. My Disney Today is a central hub where you can find internal policies, internal articles, and expectations at Disney. Now, they have an internal organizational chart that allows Disney employees to contact other colleagues from all different departments, and that's called Disney Roster. Now, let's jump right into the Disney Files. In this first installment of the Disney Files, we're going to delve deep into Disney's inner workings and expose just how Disney, through its many channels, seems to promote the grooming of innocent children and who is behind all of this madness inside the once family-friendly company that was founded by Walt Disney in 1923. You'll see how the Disney Files provides further proof of the claims of Disney's creative marketing director, that's Jeannie Giordani. We saw him in Disney Part 3 of how Disney is aggressively pushing the trans and LGBTQ agenda to innocent children, not just in the United States, but around the world. Let's take a dive into one of Disney's internal Slack channels called #DisneyPride. As you can see in this Disney Pride Slack channel, Disney employees are passing around documents of poly, swingers, virtual hangouts, pride nights, gay meetups, and even, yes, queer Zoom backgrounds that can be used when employees are on company Zoom calls. Disney employees are even passing around photos to gay pride questionnaires that are apparently being posted at the Disney Orlando offices and posters inviting fellow Disney employees to attend name change clinics.
How you doing? You work for Disney? I'm James O'Keefe. You see the videos 2 weeks ago with the guy was on video? On hidden camera? Oh, you should check it out. The Disney Vice President, Michael Giordano.
All right, I'll take a look at it. Where's it at?
It's all over the internet. It has like 10 million views on X and YouTube, and it's going viral phenomenon.
I'll look at it on my lunch hour.
Yeah, please do. Let us know what you think. I've had it with all my personal and private information being exposed and exploited by big tech and big government, so I'm joining my OMG.
Now, something highly disturbing we discovered here was a Disney employee named Honey Harrison, who is promoting a Disney-sanctioned and sponsored Seattle Pride event via the Disney Slack channel. As we dug deeper into what she was marketing, we found it was an LGBTQ Pride event sponsored by Disney and meant for kids of all ages. Disney was open about promoting the brand at the Seattle Pride event and had signage at the event, which apparently went under the radar. And not only are they promoting the event in Seattle, they have mapped out a series of these Disney-backed Pride events all over the country. So who is Honey Harrison? Well, as it turns out, Honey is the Mobile Product Operations Manager at Disney. In addition to her position at Disney's Mobile Product Operations Manager, she's apparently one of the world's top pinball players. Honey sent this link a couple times in the Disney Slack channel. So let's give you a taste of exactly what goes on at these Disney-sponsored all-ages gay pride events. Now, as you can see in this video of naked men riding bicycles, there were way more than just pinballs bouncing around that parade route, and children, very young children, were there to see it all, compliments of the Walt Disney Company. Did you just see that? Fully naked men on bicycles in front of children, brought to you by the Walt Disney Company. Show it again in case you missed it. Well, now we know exactly what Jeannie Giannani, the creative marketing director, meant when he said the, quote, unspoken truth.
That's the unspoken thing.
The question is, should children at these young ages be subjected to such sexual imagery, and should Disney be promoting it? As we dug deeper into Disney's Slack channel, we found that a Disney employee named Adriana Aguilar showed a map of all the pride parades that Disney was sponsoring. Yes, they are taking their show on the road. As you can see on this map, Disney is apparently sponsoring pride parades in Washington, D.C., Fresno, New York, L.A., and more. Disney is sponsoring these pride parades all around the country, as you saw in the graphic. As our investigative journalist at O'Keefe Media Group dug even further into Disney's internal communication channels, the journalist discovered that Disney has a not-so-secret partner named Zebra Youth. Now, what is Zebra Youth? Zebra Youth is a program that was formed to assist LGBTQ youth as young as 13 years old, and Disney seems to be all about it. To give you some context, Zebra Youth is described as a program that advances its mission by providing high-quality, culturally appropriate programs designed to meet the unique needs of homeless and at-risk LGBTQ youth ages between 12 and 24. Under the radar and hidden from the public, Disney actively promotes the Zebra Youth program. And if it were not for our brave Disney whistleblowers, insiders shining a light inside this company, we would not be able to bring this shameful practice to light. And as consumers and shareholders, you and I would never know about it. As we uncovered, and as you can plainly see on your screen, Disney partners with Zebra Youth as a third party to help out LGBTQ youth, even providing arts and crafts for them to do. Amazing works of art, like Gay Mickey Mouse, where Disney encourages kids to put colorful sticky notes, quote, where they belong. Now, we dug deeper into the Disney files and found their internal org charts. Disney's organizational chart is a winding web of names and titles that starts at the top with Disney CEO Bob Iger and goes all the way down the employee food chain, explaining who's who at Disney and who does what. Now, let's meet Disney's Vice President, Queen Denchukwu, and her DEI team. Queen, who ironically is one of the few queens we've come across at Disney who actually claims to be a woman, is Disney's Vice President of DEI. In her role as Vice President of DEI, Queen aims to implement diversity, equity, inclusion at Disney through all channels of the company onto all employees. Now, we also checked out drag queen Jeannie Giannani's team and their profiles on Disney's org chart and found out who is on the creative marketing side of things and who exactly is in charge of what. Jeannie reports to Vice President of Marketing Casey Brickner. On the creative side of Disney, they aim to produce proper marketing of products, ideas, and events all across Disney. Again, it begs the question, why is Disney so obsessed with pushing LGBTQ and trans programming at young children? And why are so many Disney employees passing around links to pride parades and exposing children to naked men on bikes, promoting this Zebra Youth and passing around poly swinger lifestyle meetups? Why is it that Disney, a brand that at one time was best known for enhancing the childhood experience, by all appearances has morphed into an organization that is hell-bent on stealing your childhood's innocence and prepping them to be grown into a den of groomers and predators? It just begs so many unanswered rhetorical questions. So coming up next week on Disney Files Volume 2, we dive even further into Disney's internal health care policies, if you want to call it that, and gender-affirming care that they actively promote to their very own employees, and how Disney not only encourages and celebrates the LGBTQ movement, but they use shareholder money to pay for employee sex change operations and even produce seminars, that's right, seminars, on how to change your name. We've also obtained an exclusive internal video inside Disney from a person working at the company that Disney does not want you to see. And here is a little tease snippet of that.
One way to be a good ally to your transgender and non-binary cast members is to use the pronoun and name they have given you.
Meet them where they are. Ask how they need support and actively listen.
Let us know what you think in the comments below and come to us on our signal at 888-315-9415 or DM us on X or Instagram. That's where a lot of these whistleblowers and insiders inside the company are coming to us. And stay tuned. Reporting outside Disney's headquarters in Burbank, California, this is James O'Keefe with O'Keefe Media Group. Stay tuned for Disney Files Volume 2.
So that was a little long video, but I felt that the information was crucial for parents and adults with common sense to be able to see what is really going on in Disney, which is funding parades around the country and showing children naked men. And they're paying for this. So anybody that has this sickness in them, they're gathering them and putting parades together so visuals can be planted in children's minds. I mean, can you ever imagine any of us that are, 30 and up or 35 and up, can you ever imagine being a child and going to a parade with naked men riding bicycles and rollerblades like that? That wasn't even that couldn't even happen. That was never even a thought. Right. And now they're planting them in different states all over our country so that to get as many children as they can in front of that, for that to be put inside of a child. When you're a child and you see something like that, you'll never forget it. And they know that, and that's the goal, is to imprint and impress on innocent children that are looking for adults to guide them, and this is their guidance. This is them saying, trust us and believe us. We're showing you something that is great, something that is new, something that you should entertain. And then as soon as a parent says something or steps in, they say, the law protects us and you can't do anything. That's where we're at in America. Yeah. And just to let you know how serious it is we did a couple months ago, released that Disney bought a version of the Bible, the NIV. Purchased, what was it? It was like $7 billion or something insane. Billions of dollars just so that they can have a version of the Bible, or a translation, let me say, a translation of the Bible so that they can have their own translation in the Bible. Yeah. So what they're saying is we're going to alter the Bible for those that believe in it, and we're going to make this okay. So you may pick that version up or that translation, and you don't know what it is because you're used to the old NIV. Now Disney owns the NIV, and imagine what they're going to be putting in the Bible. Their Disney version of the Bible. So that means they're strategizing on how to infect and how to impose this in every shape, every form or facet. And as you heard the guy say, O'Keefe, he didn't say just not America, he said the world. But some of the world is saying, we're not paying for that. China said, we're not paying for that. So if you want us to continue to be a customer, get all that sick, perverted crap out of it. And if you send that, we're not sending no money. And so, and another real key holder for people that are investors and shareholders, and because being shareholder in Disney used to hold a lot of weight. Yeah. Well, that's gonna be dropping, I promise you. Yeah, and guess what they're doing? He just revealed the people, the workers inside are revealing. They're taking shareholders' money and using that money to promote these parades. And did you see that they have a health care provision? Yeah, that they're providing health care for employees. So if you're these young kids, 18, 19, 17 working for Disney, that's another way to get the surgery covered. Yeah. Think about that. If you're a Disney employee, one of your benefits is we'll mutilate you and you won't have to pay. But a guarantee, once you go down that path, which we've showed many videos of people that started, once you try to reverse, it's too late. And so once your body has been chopped and mutilated, guess what? There's certain medications you need to live. And there's certain treatments that you gotta continue. You have to have something that can care for and open a wound that won't close. Never ending wounds. And they're saying that you're gonna be happy. You imagine just having a cut on your finger, a nasty gash on your finger that never closes. That prevents you from doing it, especially if it's your functioning hand, your primary hand or arm. Think about that. Let's say if you work in, whatever, restaurants, you work in construction, and you just have an open wound on your hand that never closes. That's gonna affect your whole livelihood. With that, they're doing this with body parts. Where young men that they're doing these surgeries on, young women they're doing these surgeries on, will have open wounds that never close. They never heal. And the doctor knows that before he takes that knife and chops you. But they're saying to the people, you're going to be so happy. You're going to be so secure. And they get more insecure and more depressed. And that's why we have a 69 or 67% percentile of American young adults and children that attempt suicide or contemplate suicide or succeed at suicide. And then globally it's 81%. So there's no way that you can, what's happened is a few powerful people that have found a new hustle. And the hustle is chopping children and taking children out of homes. That's their hustle. That's what they look at it as a hustle, meaning another form of income. Now, people that worship money, there's no limits. We've already given scripture. And so this is why we, number one, I want to play, let's put up the passage after Newsome did what he did, signed the bill. The former President Trump made a statement concerning this. Now remember, this is not a political channel. President Trump said, on day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto our children. So, for me, it's really common sense. President Joe Biden had released a few months, like last month, during Gay Pride Month, he had released a statement saying that it was going to be one of his top priorities to protect and promote the LGBTQ community and the gay community. For those that wanted the children, he's saying, is his number one. One of his number one priorities is to protect those children that are being deceived by the adults, and being coerced and being led astray and being abused. That's child abuse. When you take a little child and you put him in front of a grown naked man and there's multiple and that's child abuse.
Yep, 100%.
When you go into children and telling them, don't trust your parents, trust us, and we're going to help you. That's child abuse.
Yeah, you used to be indecent exposure.
Yeah, indecent exposure. You go to jail, and guess what? And not only would you go to jail, is you'd also get the tag of a sexual predator.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
That's what it was. It wasn't just you go to jail. You go to jail and then you become a sexual predator. That's where we used to be. Now we got shareholders' money being taken and used to promote pedophile.
Yeah.
To promote sex predators. Right. Every one of them men that's grown doing that's a sex predator.
Yeah.
And we got people that have children's views and children's eyes and children's sponge minds.
Yeah.
Saying this is our objective.
Disgusting.
Their assignment is on our children.
Yeah.
When are we going to say enough? When are we going to say, no, this is where we draw the line? China drew the line.
Yep.
And this is all being promoted from our state,
Yeah.
California,
Sad.
to the world. So guess what? There may be other countries that on the fence or not really, or they didn't know. Now they're being exposed and it's going to their children. So these people have a global,
Oh yeah.
because they see how much money they can make. You heard the one transgender lady that tried to turn into a man who realized she'll never be a man.
Yep.
She said the numbers where she said, I think it was 1.5 or it was over $1 million for every person,
Yep.
every child that they can get influenced into this walk, that during that person's lifetime, they will make over $1 million on every single person that they can get on a transgender path.
Yep.
And the younger, the more money they can make.
Yep.
And the younger, they know they have more influence.
Yep.
Because children are impressionable. And they trust. So now we have to do a whole revamping of our school program, our schooling to our children. You have to teach your children if you can't get them out of public schools, if you don't have, I don't know what to say. I don't want to say the wrong thing. What I'm saying is this, is that if you love your children, if you love children, if you're a protector of children, it's time to act. And it's time to take our kids out of the schools. It's time for us to build our own schools. And it's time for us to take our children's futures back into our hands. A law was passed by one of the most evil men walking this earth, is our Governor Newsome, saying, you parents, your children are mine now. That's California law. Your children are mine. And if you try to do anything, we'll put you in jail to protect your children. Well, guess what? That may work for a couple people, but if 500,000 people say, no, they're not. If 5 million parents say, no, they're not, that law means nothing.
Yep.
And we're not supposed to obey wicked laws that cause death and harm and destruction.
Right.
Those are not laws. Those are dictator oppressions and dictator commands and demands of terror. They want to talk about terrorists.
Yeah.
If you say if you speak against the LGBTQ, you're a terrorist. No, they terrorists.
Yeah. Right.
When you can come up with a plan to target babies, you're a terrorist.
Yeah.
Domestic, that's what we're dealing with. Domestic terrorists. People need to understand this. This is not a conspiracy. Go look at the law. And you tell me where's that? How's that a republic? How's that a democracy? Where do you see that at? Where it says anytime the people's rights have been taken, that's a communist situation. Yeah. And communist is, you're going to do what we say, we're going to kill you, or we're going to take all your land, we're going to take everything you own. That's what communism is. Yeah. And the first thing they're saying, we're taking, not only we're taking your taxes, not only we're taking your rights, we're taking your children.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. So all you guys that have platforms, man, that you're saying for justice and you're trying to expose the deep, dark, deep state, here it is. Every one of us that have podcasts, every one of us that have platforms should be linking up this week.
Yeah.
And if you're scared, then just stay away. But if you're not interested in protecting children, just keep doing what you're doing. If you're all about views and you're all about money, then you won't respond to this. But if you're about the future and you're about children, you're gonna respond. There's no explanation. There's no, oh, I have this. No, you're just making a decision, and it's fine. But everyone has to decide.
Yep.
And when the decisions is act or don't act, that's the decision. Are you serious about exposing wickedness and darkness? Are you serious about getting results? Will we have them? Let's link together. So I want to end with some scriptures. We'll do the Proverbs 29:2 first, which actually, verse 1 is actually the scripture that goes to Celine Dion, which we'll be having an update. Matter of fact, next week we'll probably be doing an update on a celebrity that chose to fund taking children away from parents and coming up with a clothing line of evilness for children, and then saying, though her exact words were, you think your children are yours, they're not. So she's right there with Governor Newsome. So we're going to give an update from her, another update, because we've already given 2, and it just keeps progressing. And so, yeah, so the first scripture in verse 1 we gave in concordance to what's happening in her physical body is lined up with the scriptures. That's why we show the scriptures, so that we can show the scriptures are relevant right now, and they were written thousands of years ago, and you can still see the evidence of them right now. That's the point. So it says, when the uncompromisingly righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Uncompromising meaning when these forms and these bills come that can gain money, the uncompromiser says it doesn't matter about the money. If this is about life and this is about children's lives, I'm not doing it. So when those type of people are in authority, people are happy. But it says right here, it says, but when the wicked man rules, the people groan and sigh. So guess what that means? That means that right now there's a lot of unhappy people. That law just made it more unhappy and more unpleasant to live in California. But the answer is not to run away, to move out of the state. That's not the answer. Because guess what? What happens when you move to a state that doesn't have that? Next thing you know, they're incorporating the same law. Because there's going to be other states that follow this. So running from the fight never is the answer. But if we unify, guess what? We can make them change that by hitting them where their God is, getting them who they serve. They serve money. So when we take the money out of their pockets, they serve us. Any political office is called a public servant. Governor Newsome's supposed to be a servant to the public. He's a servant to money, and he's a servant to an agenda of a few people that are making this a massive movement, a global movement from hell. Okay, let's go to the other scripture. What's the other scripture we had? Isaiah?
Yeah, that's it, 10, 1 and 2.
Okay, Isaiah 10, 1 and 2. Go ahead and put it up, okay. It says, woe to those judges who issue unrighteous decrees. That's what just happened this week, again. And to the magistrates who keep causing unjust and oppressive decisions to be recorded. What just happened on Tuesday was an oppressive and unjust decision that's now recorded as law. So these are the exact people that the scriptures are talking about, and to make us aware of them and how we're supposed to respond. The quote keeps coming to me, but there's a philosopher, I can't remember who his name was, but he said, the only time evil can prevail is when righteous men stand by and do nothing. Meaning the only time evil can prevail and get bigger and grow further is when righteous men, righteous people stand and do nothing. Meaning, if the righteous stand, evil gets stopped. But if the righteous, if the just, if those that are protectors of life, if they get involved we can stop it. But if we just stand by and say there's nothing I can do, you're actually ushering in and promoting the evil by standing and doing nothing. Because when you recognize evil and you do nothing, you're condoning it. Okay, so verse 2 says, to turn aside the needy from justice. Hey, Chloe needs justice.
Yep.
Those parents that their kids came home with different attire, strap bras and breast reduction things and all these things that the parents found in the child's backpack, the school of the book of pornography. Those the teachers that are standing and being fired, they're the needy that need justice.
Yeah.
And to make plunder of the rightful claims of the poor of my people. This is God speaking. He said that widows may be their spoil, meaning they prey on the weak. They prey on the vulnerable. They prey on the innocent. They prey on those that don't have men to protect them.
Right.
It says that widows may be their spoil. This is a war.
Yeah.
And our children are their spoil. The mothers with no fathers to protect the children, that's who they're aiming at. And that they may make the fatherless their prey. That is their goal. So the scriptures are showing us who these people are right now today. And we have to do something. We have to stand. We have to unite. We have to pull our children out of this. Even if it's right now, you got to get them into homeschool. We got to do what we got to do. But in the meantime, know that there's an objective and there's agendas for answers to these crimes. These are crimes. What our governor just did is a crime to human life. But when you have wicked money people that love power and control and dictatorship, then it's not a crime to them. It's just business as usual. No, these are crimes.
Yeah.
And they have to be treated as criminals. And we have to hold them accountable. So I thank you for joining. Sorry it's been away, but we're going to be coming with a lot more strong information, data, stats, to where it can't be argued. You can't argue this.
Right.
If you do, you're just a part of the sick, perverted problem. That's it. If you have an argument, a rebuttal against this, you're saying you hate children and you agree with evil people and you're a lover of money and you serve money.
Yep.
And you don't care about life. That's it. Because we're not on here promoting any type of political campaign. We're not on here trying to get people to vote for nobody. We're on here to expose what they're doing to our kids. And now it's been in our face, but now it's really in our face. Because a lot of the things I would talk about, most people go, what? Well, guess what? If you live in California and you heard about that bill, you can no longer say what.
Yep.
So please join studentstayhome.com. Get that website out. Yeah. Share the link. Yeah. Share the information to every contact you know. Every person in your phone that you know that has children or loves children or has grandchildren, this link should be going to them.
Yes.
Period. To every school teacher you know, to every person that is fighting this fight in the school system, you should be sending this link to. And I'm running across people all the time that they're grateful to get the information. They're feeling relieved because they're like, wow, that really is an answer. Yeah. And so those that are investors, please help invest in our schools. Please help invest in land so that we can build schools. We got builders already that are willing to help us build.
Yep.
We just need the finances. And like I said, between 500 and 2,000 student waiting lists on every private school in San Diego County, in LA County, Riverside County. These schools they're packed.
Yep.
And so when we start emptying these public schools, I guarantee you we'll get their attention. And if we all do it together, then they can't just single target a few of us.
Yep.
So we have to learn from history. We have to learn what works and what doesn't work. When it's one or two people trying to do it, they just kill them off. When it's a whole movement, they can't kill a whole movement. They can't arrest a whole movement. They can't. You can't arrest 100,000 people unless you want to bring the National Guard in. You can't arrest 5 million people. You can't arrest 1 million people. If you got 1 million parents to say, that's it, we're taking our kids out this 1 week. 1 million parents. I think we got 32 million people in California. Just 1 million. Even 100,000. 100,000 families will send shockwaves.
Yep.
And guess what? Then the other masses with their sanity will join. So please, 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 this is urgent. This is what we're giving our lives to.
Yep.
Without our children, what do we have?
Yep.
Think about it. What do we have? So anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for those that are supporting. Thank you for those that are joining. God bless you. And I pray that you have a great evening. And we'll see you here next week for another episode of The Truth Unspoken.